This episode's brought to you by Arc Raiders, a multiplayer extraction adventure video game set in a lethal yet vibrant future Earth. Available now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. ArcRaiders.com.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Gamescast for Friday, October 31st, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing, Adeoye, Strife, and joining me is Tim Shreddies.
Oh,
That's it.
I love it. What's up, everybody? How you doing, Bless?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good.
Happy Halloween.
Doing really good. Excited for this. You look fantastic. You'll get many guns comments in the chat today.
Of course.
And they're well deserved.
And you look fantastic.
Thank you very
My
much.
shredder.
I have a cape. I've lived my entire life wanting a cape.
I fuck with capes so heavy.
Dude, it's so good.
Capes are so cool. I've always wanted to pull out. Oh, and man, look at that. Tim's running around, the capes flowing in the wind. I feel like we need to incorporate capes into way more formal outfits. I know people do,
Kevin
but
tried.
We don't do it enough.
He tried for the longest time.
Who did?
Dude,
Kevin.
Kev was trying to get capes going. Everybody needs to understand how I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to wear a cape for my wedding so hard.
Yeah.
So hard. To the point that I bought 3 separate capes. They just don't look right. It just ain't right. They just ain't right.
What
Did
is
Gia wear
it?
one?
Gia wore a cape.
Yeah.
I was very jealous of her.
Yeah.
I tried to get a cape so desperately that I ended up buying a professional cosplay, like very high end, like wear it on a show grade from what's his name from Rogue One? Is it Krennic? Barrett?
Yes.
Like the white cape, because it's fucking sick as shit.
Okay.
And it just looked bad. It just didn't pull it off the right way.
Damn.
I tried looking up like actual fashion capes, but they were way too just like, you know, the material wasn't right. Or my bigger problem being, yeah.
This kind of cape.
It's pretty damn sick, but it
So
just
cool.
didn't look right. And otherwise, it's like there's a lot of like cultural outfits that I'm like, I can't be doing that. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. I
So
feel
that's
I feel
always
that.
the thing there. But I legitimately reached out to Gary Whitta to see if there was any favors he could pull to get me Lando's cape from Solo,
Ooh.
because it's like the coolest, like Donald Glover's cape.
Yeah.
So fucking sick.
Yeah.
And he tried. He legit reached out to people to try to get me the cape, but it
It's a
didn't.
real one right there.
It didn't
Shout out
work.
Gary Whitta.
Shout out Gary Whitta.
Well, Tim, happy Halloween, and also
Happy Halloween.
happy 25th anniversary to the PlayStation 2. That's what we're celebrating today. Because, of course, remember, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we get together and talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, some of your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Super Chat in with what you think is one of the top 25 best PS2 games, or even if you just want to super chat in with your favorite PS2 game and why, let us know and we'll talk about it on the show. Housekeeping for you, we're an 11-person business all about live talk shows. KFGD was about Arc Raiders dominating on Steam. After this is Game Showdown, then an NVIDIA Arc Raiders sponsored stream, and then closing out the day is another sponsored stream with Nick and Mike celebrating a little Halloween with a little spooky game. If you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Greg Ways coming at you from Mike. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney the Psalm Twining. For now, let's start. Topic of the show. It's my favorite day of the year.
Yep.
Shitless day.
Shitless day, baby. I can't wait. This is a very special one, though, because it's not just any old shitless. Like, this is one of the most important anniversary dates gaming has had thus far. 25 years of the most successful console of all time, the PlayStation 2.
Some might say the greatest console of all time.
Some might. I think most people would, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's...
The PS2 is a fucking
It's up there.
force.
It's a beast. And yeah, I don't necessarily know that I would at the end of the day give it the nod, but like,
top 3.
I can't deny that I would need to debate myself. And I think at the end of the day, it would be a personal taste thing of me really loving Nintendo games that would put a different console over it. But
that makes sense.
I mean, when you look at what the PlayStation 2 did from a third party perspective, like it's kind of wild. And even from an exclusive perspective, less so the like Sony first party perspective. That was, I think, a later generation in Sony's life thing. But
There are very important building blocks here, though, when it comes to the first party stuff.
Oh, for sure. Like,
absolutely.
You're talking about Jak and Daxter. You're talking. I mean, when you want to talk about first party exclusives, Shadow of the Colossus, one of my best favorite games of all time, right? I'm talking about God of War.
Yeah, totally. But you get to the third party stuff, and we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 3 Trilogy, right? Exclusive on PS2, later coming to other consoles. But for the initial launch and for ostensibly the life of those games, it was PS2 exclusive. That's crazy to
Metal
think
Gear
about.
Solid 2
and 3.
Right? We'll get into the conversation, of course, for the uninitiated. Shit list is where I go online. I find a top 10 list. I bring it back to Tim and sometimes spare it on the ones and twos, and we judge it for your amusement. Today's list is the best PS2 games of all time. This list is coming from IGN. I'm taking off my gloves for this one because I'm going to do a lot of typing. This list is coming from IGN. It was compiled by the IGN staff. There's not just one name on this one. This is a staff-made list. Originally posted on October 13th, 2023, but then updated on October 26th, 2025, I imagine, for the anniversary of the PS2.
I wonder if it was 20 games, and then because I think the whole thing is they're doing top 25 for this one for the 25th anniversary.
So they probably expanded it.
Added a few.
Yeah. And so October 20th, I guess the date doesn't matter because PS2 games are PS2 games.
Yeah.
IGN. Tim, I know we just listed a few, but what comes to mind?
Before we get into the list, there's two things I want to say. One, I want to do a non sequitur going back to talking about capes. I've had this picture on my desktop for 6 months now, and I think it is legitimately the coldest picture I've ever seen in my life. And if I could have this picture just tattooed on my forehead perfectly, I would, and no one would judge me. People would be like, you know what? That guy's cool. That guy's fucking cool. I need to show you this picture of Spider-Man that I saw. That it's just, I'm going to send this to Assets right now, and I need everybody to prepare themselves, all right? And I'm not going to get too graphic, but you might want to get some tissues out.
Well, Jesus.
I mean, he said what he said.
For what reason?
He said what he said.
It's up to you. You might cry, Barrett. You might cry.
He might cry out of somewhere else.
This is legitimately the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
This actually goes hard. He's right.
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man with a web cape.
Oh
in
yeah,
this style.
Oh dude, this is something I would see in 2007 and go hell yeah.
This is my entire personality, man.
It's this and then SpongeBob with the basketball. You ever see those cool SpongeBob pictures? It's this, that, and Sonic. Those are the things that in 2007 you show me those and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. That's what it's about.
Come on. All right, now the cape talk is over here. Let's talk about PlayStation 2 before we get into this list, Bless. I kind of just want to talk about you and PlayStation 2 because definitively for me, this was the first generation we went into that I was aware that a generation was coming. You know, I grew up with Nintendos and Super Nintendos from garage sales, and then the Nintendo 64 was the hot new thing at Toys R Us, but that was kind of my first memories was Mario 64 at Toys R Us, right?
Yeah.
The lead up, reading magazines, the build up to the launch of the PlayStation 2. I was also very lucky to be in San Francisco where the PlayStation store was. And the years might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure the Sony Metreon, which the Metreon used to be owned by Sony. It's no longer, but it used to be the Sony Metreon. And it was, I think it opened in 99, and when the PS2 launched, the PlayStation store there was the epicenter of the PlayStation 2 launch. So I remember my dad took me there just to look at it all happen, and it was it was one of my first gaming community experiences of seeing other people be excited for a launch of anything. And yeah, man, the PS2 was special.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I was younger, obviously, so I didn't have the experience of seeing a generation come through because I must have been, I guess, 6 years old by the time the PS2 came out. But I grew up with an N64. My earliest memories, I don't remember a time before owning an N64 to put into context, right? As soon as I came into consciousness, I was playing Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey.
Yeah.
But I do vaguely remember a shift from playing the Mario games and Mario Party and all these colorful N64 games to seeing games just look better all of a sudden. I would go, I'd talk about Addison all the time, but it really was going to Addison's house, going to other friends' houses and seeing that their games were getting a bit more grown and complex and more advanced and they looked better. And for the longest time, Addison would be the friend's house I would go to be like, yo, what's that God of War game? Oh, yeah. He showed me GTA 3. And I remember that being like he was so excited to show me GTA 3. And my brain was still on DK64, you know? Yeah. And like, it was almost like you're showing me something that is too complex for my brain to comprehend. Like, I am 8 years old and you're showing me GTA and God of War and all this stuff. But eventually, I came into the PS2 life cycle a little bit later. I want to say around 03, 04 is when I finally got a PS2. And I remember getting a PS2 and borrowing just a bunch of games from Addison. This is where all
that's
these
the best though, right? Coming into a generation late, I think, is like such a pivotal moment for us to decide, are we a gamer or do we just like games?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And being able to like go back and play the library of games and being invested in that, like, oh, it's so special.
My first game I think I had for PS2 was Spider-Man 2 for PS2. And I remember that being such a fun one, right? But I think it was after borrowing so many games, and I talked about this the other day, I borrowed Shadow of the Colossus and Metal Gear Solid 3 from Addison in the same week. And that was the thing that was like when I became an adult. You know what I mean? Like, that's when I started to like realize things as somebody who played video games of, oh, wait, I appreciate like the story here. You know what I mean? Like, I was playing N64 games. I was playing Spider-Man 2. Finally, with MGS3, I had a game where I was so invested with the characters, with the narrative, with all these things. And with Shadow of the Colossus, that was the one where like, I was like, video games can be this. Like, I'm going through, the world is empty. I'm just trying to figure out how to get to these big monsters and I can fight them. And it's emotional for some reason. And the music is so grand and big.
And you're 10?
I'm probably like 10 years old. Yeah. 10, 11 years old, somewhere around that. I want to say that was probably like, I was probably like 05 by the time I'm getting around to that point. And my mind is being blown by all this shit. And so like, yeah, for me, that was the PS2. PS2 was me going from, all right, I'm a kid who's playing video games and I'm, playing party games and all this stuff for fun, to then having that transition of like still playing, all these gameplay focused Soul Calibur and Spider-Man 2. And like before I even got around to playing Shadow and MGS, I was playing hella NBA Street Volume 2. And like, there are so many fucking great arcade style games on the PS2 that I was all locked in for.
Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah, Burnout 3 being a big one for me. But
Tony Hawk 3,
Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 3.
Underground 2, American Wasteland. Like, that's the thing too, is like the PS2 generation not only felt like it lasted longer, I think it legitimately did last longer because it was such an entry point for so many people, for it was their first console. And look, the numbers back this, right? Like the numbers show that it being as successful as it is, people bought it to be a DVD player. How many of those people that did that turned into gamers because they're like, oh, I can try playing these games too, right? So I feel like it's so many, I would argue it's probably the most people's entry point, and the more than that, the most people's place where they played the most games that are pivotal to them in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Right? They might prefer the newer games. They might prefer whatever. But I do think the entry point was probably the PS2 because there was so much going for that. And especially when we're talking about people our age. Like, give or take the standard deviation of like 5-6 years on either side, right? Like, it's crazy to me that the PS2 means as much to me and you as it does to Greg Miller, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's just like this age difference between us. And even all the way down to Roger, like where we grew up with the N64 or even like Super Nintendo and stuff. But like so much of that was like not contemporary whatsoever. So the PS2 wasn't contemporary with Raj, but it's what he had, and I love that. My favorite PS2 story, I've told this story a bunch of times, but it is so special to me. 10 years ago now, when I first started dating Gia, maybe 3 months into our relationship, she lived out in the Sunset with her roommate, Avi. Avi is in a band. He not a gamer at all. She, especially at that point, didn't even know what a video game was. Like, no video games around them. Like, video games were very much me and my friends. That's our thing. I was at their house, and me and her are having dinner, and I hear a hum. And it was driving me crazy, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, that's a PlayStation 2. Like, a PS2 was on in this house.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
And we're eating dinner, and at some point she's like, what are you listening for? And I was like, do you hear that hum? And she was like, I guess so. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a PlayStation 2. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm telling you,
This is like one of her first moments where she realizes how much of a fucking
what's
nerd
wrong
you
with
are.
me.
Yeah.
But also she was like, no, like I don't you. That's weird that it sounds like it, but okay. And I just got hooked on it. And for like 2 hours, we're just talking whatever, and I just couldn't get out of my head. I'm like, that's a PS2. Like I know that's a PS2. And then we're like walking around, and I look under, and guess what is under the home console? A PS2 turned on.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's a fucking PS2, and it's on. And she goes, oh, that's the DVD player.
Of course.
And
of course.
I was like mind blown that to her, that's not a PlayStation. It's a DVD player. But more than that, there was a PS2 that her roommate had been watching a DVD, and it was just still on. The TV was off, but the PS2 was on. I literally heard the hum, and I knew it was a PlayStation 2.
That's sick.
And honestly, that's not some Tim Geddes is a weird sicko shit.
No.
I bet y'all could do it too.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, that's fucking crazy.
what's your deepest cut on the PS2? Before we get into the best games, what's your deepest cut?
It's funny because I just think because of the nature of our jobs and talking, I feel like we have talked about deep cuts so long that they're not deep cuts anymore, right?
Probably, yeah.
And even then, like deep cuts, I don't think are necessarily like deep cuts to me are the ones that like aren't going to pop up on this list.
Oh, for sure.
Downhill Domination is the one for me, but I can't call that a deep cut because that was a first party title. Like I'm pretty sure that was made by the team that did. Wasn't that Sony Santa Monica, but under a different name, Incognito? I think. Like,
oh, I don't even know.
It's just crazy. It's like that. You know, that was a big one. Like there was characters from SSX in it.
Interesting.
But yeah, Downhill Domination, the downhill mountain bike game, which was incredible. Like I want to play that today, and I bet it still holds up. Like,
God, actually, this is actually pretty sick. Now I'm looking at gameplay. I'm pretty sure I saw this and wanted to play it.
Yeah, it's really good. And then, yeah, to me, it would be Kinetica is the other one. That's definitely Sony Santa Monica, which I was obsessed with as a kid. That's like the racing one where it's like.
Oh, Kinetica? I know Kinetica.
Yeah, were they humans or not? I don't know, but they like would hold on to wheels and like race like with their whole bodies. Very cool. But then Frequency and Amplitude. The precursors to Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Yeah, those are my shit. But again, like deep cuts, I don't know if I'd call them that. What about you?
Seven Samurai 20XX, which is a game.
Yeah, dude.
It's a game I've never heard anybody else bring up. But like I was the master of the GameStop $10 bin. Right.
Absolutely.
Anytime I'm at the mall, I'm like, I gotta stop by GameStop because I know I can ask my mom for $10 and she'll give it to me, and I can leave here with a new game, or quote unquote new, with an old game, with an old ass game. So I would be fucking in the trenches in that bin trying to find what's next to play. I remember grabbing MTV Music Generator 2 out of that thing.
Best to make a sick beat, and it was so hard.
Trying to make a sick beat, and it would just turn out to be like cartoon bullshit that I'm making. And then iNinja was another one I remember being obsessed with as a kid. Like that felt like this is people are out here playing Ratchet, people are out here playing Jack and Daxter or whatever. I got iNinja that I'm playing, right? But I just want to bring that up because the PS2 for me is a console of just quantity, but like so much quality in that quantity that I think so much falls through the cracks of things that might not be the best games ever. Obviously, like Seven Samurai 20XX, that's like a 5 out of 10 game probably. But like I have the memory of it, and I was obsessed with it for some reason, and I couldn't get enough of it.
The one that I want to shout out that I remember my buddy and I playing just hours and hours of was the Flat Out games, which was kind of Burnout-esque, but it was the modes that we would play because we would barely do the actual driving. I'm trying to find gameplay of it.
I remember the commercials for Flat Out.
God, Flat Out was so cool.
They had the commercials where it was essentially like stunt drive shit, right? Where like people, they would like crash and people would fly out the car and all this shit. Yeah, and
like there was one where it was like how like there was one mode we were obsessed with where you'd go up and it was almost like one of those like strength things where you see the bell go all the way up, but you'd crash and you'd try to see like how high you can get your dude to fly and stuff. And there's like, I'm trying to find like just one of the silly modes.
I'm making an executive call here. If you boys will allow me.
Sure.
This is no longer a shit list. This is a celebration of the PlayStation 2 brought to you by Tim Geddes, Blessing at Eddie Jr. and Barrett Courtney. We'll get to the shit list at a different point, a different day. Let's just celebrate.
Okay.
Let's just celebrate the PlayStation 2. Let's just talk about our memories of the 25 years of PlayStation.
PS2
you down for that?
I'm totally down for that. Because yeah, dude, Flat Out was one I never played, but like I remember watching the commercials and being man, that's sick. Another deep cut, which I think as I say it, everybody's gonna be like, oh, everybody played that, right? But MX versus ATV. You remember MX versus ATV?
They shoved that down our throats. That was on every demo disc possible, man.
Dude, they had that everywhere for some. I played that in church youth group. Like for some reason, the church owned MX versus ATV. I had also a demo disc that had. Oh, we got to talk about demo discs.
We got to.
But I played so much MX versus ATV.
Oh, this is unlocking memories.
It was everywhere for some reason.
And this all led to one game and one game only. Freak style.
Oh,
with the Q.
Yeah.
They were like, all right, the PS2 era was dominated by ATV and MX related games. Also, extreme sports are popping off. What if we put a Q in Freak and had some fun with it? And then there was BMX XXX.
Yeah. We could have. I know we've already done this shit list probably on a Patreon thing, but like there's a conversation of the top 10 extreme sports games, and they're all like 99% of them are on PS2. Like PS2 had such a chokehold on that. I mean, again,
stuff. Extreme sports, early 2000s. It
all comes together.
That it comes together, but yeah, man. Dude. Yeah, here we go. Freak style, baby.
Freak style. This is one I never.
God, all games just like looked at in terms of just like environment assets, like everything just looks the same. It's so funny.
I miss this art style.
I mean, yeah, this was essentially like, all right, let's just take SSX and make it motorcycles.
God, another deep cut all throughout there. Oni.
Yeah,
Oni was
Bungie.
one. Dude, the OG, who made that? Because that was a weird. Oh yeah, Bungie. I think you said OG. Yeah, Bungie made it, published by Rockstar of all things. Like a weird ass collaboration there. But like that's what it was like back in the day, right? But like a game that was this third person action game. You're playing as like, you know, a cool secret agent, and you're getting like these different guns, and like I remember in the back of the box how much they would advertise the like melee moves or whatever, and then also how one of the key bullet points they had on the back of the box that always stuck with me, even as I was playing the game. I'm pretty sure this bullet point is what sold me on the game more than the game itself, because the game is very fine.
No. The game is booty.
Yeah.
This game is not good.
Even as a kid, I was like, this is kind of boring.
This is the perfect definition of a game. You go to Blockbuster, you see that box art, you're like, there's no way this is bad.
There's no way
it home, and you're playing it, you're like, this is bad. But no, it's not. I love this. I love this. It can't be bad.
The bullet point on the back of the box was saying that the architecture in this game was made by real architects. And as a kid, I zeroed in on that and was like,
cool.
I was like, oh, that's really cool. And for some reason,
that matters to me.
I let that bullet point convince me that this was some revolutionary type shit.
God, that's so funny, man.
Yeah.
I want to shout out the PS2 for, you know, like this is, I don't think I quote unquote own a PS2 until 2002, 2003 when my mom started dating my former stepdad, and he had a PS2. And so a lot of it was learning about games through him, but then eventually my cousin having a PS2, and that was the era of cousin games. You know, that's where we get that era of just like the weirdest shit that you'll find, right? But I was saying all that just to say, like, I'm not in it like you guys are at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
But I just want to shout out like all of the weird games that I think of. The number one that I think of going over to my cousin's house and playing just really weird games was Whiplash, where you play as like a bunny or some shit with another dude.
Oh my God.
And you're trying to escape like an animal like testing facility. And it was just like I was obsessed with this game.
Something in me.
Barrett,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a memory hole unlock like this. Like, holy crap. This is insane, where I loved this game, but I don't think I could have ever pulled it out.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So it was one of those like kind of 3D platformer, where you play as two characters kind of thing, but it was a bit more edgier and goofy and stuff like that.
This was fun, dude.
It was. I at least remember it being a great time.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Whiplash. Interesting.
But yeah, like my cousin had just a bunch of games like these where you're just like, okay.
Obviously, I'm going to get into super chats in a moment. I want to shout out Spy Hunter, the Spy Hunter series on PS3.
Right?
Dude, that was one where I played Spy Hunter 1 and 2. Never got around to 3, even though that's the one that started the rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
I'm with you there, too.
I remember seeing the commercial or like the trailer or whatever it was and being like, man, I really want to rock bottom somebody in a video game, because that's what they had in Spy Hunter 3. But Spy Hunter 1 was a game that, like, at that point, whenever I got Spy Hunter, I had learned what bad video games were. And when I first played Spy Hunter, thought it was a bad video game as a kid. I was like, oh, this is boring. Oh man, there's so many requirements to complete a stage. Basically, if you're unfamiliar with the PS2 Spy Hunter, it's a pure driving game, but you're playing as a spy. And so your car has a bunch of gadgets, and you're going through these stages and like trying to fulfill the objectives while also getting to the end of the stage. And for the first maybe month or so of having this game, I was like, this kind of sucks. I don't know what changed in my time playing it, but I grew hooked. Like, I think I just learned to understand what it wanted from me. And after I got into the flow of that game, it ended up being one of my favorite just driving games.
That's awesome.
of that era.
Spy Hunter 1 for me was I rented it once, never beat it, but I played the demo so many times. I really loved the converting the car into like into a motorcycle jet ski type thing when you're going through like the like hydroplaning and stuff like that. That was so much fun. And yeah, again, it all these games look identical, but like it's a look we like. God, this looks so stretched.
Yeah, I think this is probably like PC. 4K 60 frames per second.
But yeah, it's funny. You see the reticle in the middle, like you have like the machine guns essentially you can shoot at your car. I think circle was how you shoot your like tracker, I think, because there's always an objective that was like, oh, track this thing. And then if you take enough damage on your car will then transform into a motorcycle as like a last stitch thing.
So talking about PlayStation 2 games that I feel don't get enough love now. At the time they did, but don't get enough love when we look back, is Time Splitters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we obviously had GoldenEye, we had Perfect Dark on N64, and those revolutionized console first-person shooters, party, couch co-op, or not co-op, couch multiplayer first-person shooters, right? Gadgets, gizmos, fun, chaos. That team ended up making Time Splitters, and it was a PS2 launch title, or at least PS2 launch window. If I remember correctly, was it launch itself or was it like 2 weeks later?
It must have been weeks later. I don't think it was in the original.
Something like it was very, very close. Like it was between October and December of that year. Time Splitters 1 came out, and it was all the fun that we had of GoldenEye, but just with leaning into the kooky characters and the fun of like everyone loved Jaws and Oddjob in GoldenEye. It's like, what if all the characters just had some weird gimmick like that, like something about them? And Time Splitters 1 was great, but Time Splitters 2 was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The amount of maps it had, the amount of weapons, the amount of just fun and style. And then Future Perfect was like a legitimately great game, the third one. But yeah, this franchise was so damn good, and like it's so PS2 coded because if I remember correctly, 1 was exclusive on PS2. And then it went multi-platform. And most of my memories are actually playing this on GameCube, just because GameCube kind of became our like party system, you know, like we're playing Mario Kart and Smash and all that, so we just continued the fun there. But in opposition to Xbox, which was our Halo system, but this didn't feel like Halo. This felt more like Mario Kart and Smash.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Time Splitters, and I think you might have been right. Actually, I think that might have been a launch title. Now that I'm looking it up on IGN, which the PS2 launch slate bigger than I would have guessed. I think when I think about a launch slate, right, like. I would have thought
Fantavision,
like
Spy Hunter, Madden 01.
I don't think Spy Hunter was on there. Well, it's not on the list here.
Not?
No. It definitely was early though, because playing Spy Hunter, you could tell that shit is from early PS2.
Tekken Tag Tournament.
Yes.
Yep.
PlayStation 2 launch.
Midnight Club?
Yeah.
I don't think I realized that was launched. That's crazy. Did you say SSX?
Nope, SSX, that was one for sure.
Dude, Street Fighter EX3, which I played at my friend Ceremal's house all the time.
Not like that one at all.
Oh, man. We got a lot more to talk about, including super chats to get to. But before we get there, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where you can go and get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Arc Raiders, a multiplayer extraction adventure game where most of humanity shelters underground, but raiders rise to the surface in search of something greater. In the Rust Belt, danger isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of the adventure. Every journey above ground is a gamble against the relentless machines of Arc and rival raiders chasing the same dream. Explore a lethal yet vibrant world scarred by old conflicts and reclaimed by nature, where shifting conditions makes every high-stakes run unpredictable. Adventure isn't a choice, it's the price of thriving. You've seen the boys playing Arc Raiders, and they're absolutely loving it on all those streams. You can join them too! Arc Raiders available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC.
And we're back. I'm going to bring in some super chats into the conversation. Alex Frazier writes in and says, why do I associate Time Splitters 1 and 2 with the GameCube rather than PS2? I didn't own it on either console.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to what I just said. Like,
yeah.
just the style of the game and the memories of it. But yeah, Time Splitters 1, I don't even think was on. Actually, I know it was not on GameCube. So
Strive says, nobody talks about the bouncer for PS2. That was a sick-ass game. Hashtag deep cut. I don't... Well, Barrett, show me the bouncer.
Think Streets of Rage, but on PS2.
Okay. Like
and
3D?
made by Square.
Are you talking
characters
about
that look like Sora.
Oh.
So it's like, it's...
Oh! I remember the bouncer now.
Yeah.
I've seen this.
Yeah. I think we talk about the bouncer the perfect amount.
Yeah, I feel like it comes up as a meme all the time.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Did you ever play Fighting Force back in the day?
No.
This gives Fighting Force a little bit. I want to bring in one from Dave Sketch 3 who says, shout out to Mark of Cree and Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah.
Did you play Mark of Cree?
Those are two games I never played, but my friends loved Mark of Cree.
I played Indigo Prophecy because I had a Quantic Dream era, Tim. Which is not a great era to have, but like honestly, they're the only ones that make the kind of games they do in the way that they do, which is like very cinematic in the choose your own adventure thing and very like just weird. And it weirdly speaks to me. I think the FMV fan in me just really likes what they do, and the choose your own adventure fan likes what they do. And so after playing Heavy Rain and the one after Heavy Rain, which I can't remember, Beyond Two Souls, I went back and I played Indigo Prophecy. And when I tell you that David Cage has been on his bullshit, man.
That's hilarious.
David Cage has always been on whatever fuck bullshit that he's been on. Because that was a weird ass game, but also for the PS2, it did stick out from the pack. That was a game that was doing really unique things with how it did its narrative and all that shit. But man, that's a game about a man who's just going through it. You start seeing demons one day and shit goes wrong. Shout out Indigo Prophecy. Not CEO writes in and says, Tim, DHD also had War of the Monsters characters.
Downhill Domination, yeah. And War of the Monsters, that was another great one. Did you ever play that?
I never played it, but I remember it.
Big kaiju games with not Godzilla and not King Kong and not whatever.
That might have been an Addison joint. I might have played that at
Super fun, yeah. Again, not a game that I would necessarily recommend be like, oh man, you gotta play it. But you get some friends together, 4 players, smash them up type stuff. Very, very fun.
Entity 1 says, many fond memories of Final Fantasy 9 on PS2 and pulling all-nighters. Were you a Final Fantasy 9 person at all?
Well, Final Fantasy 9 is PS1. But yeah, I love 9. 9 was one I played way later. But I mean, 10 was my first. So
yeah,
all the prior ones I went
I assume this is a backwards compatibility situation because I had that as well, where I played a lot of PS1 games on PS2.
Yeah.
Because I never owned a PS1, but sometimes I would get PS1 games. That's how I played. I had a demo disc, which we're going to have the demo disc conversation. But I had a demo disc that was a PS1 demo disc that had Brave Fencer Musashi and NFL Blitz. It was one of the PlayStation Undergrounds. Chat, if you know which one I'm talking about, name more games from that thing because I can talk about that all day. But
dude, the demo discs. I mean, let's just talk about.
Let's just talk about
it, right? Because there's PlayStation Underground. They would do that stuff. Then there was the jam packs.
Yes,
that you can get, and you can actually like buy demo discs like in box, like they sold them as a separate series. And I think that started, maybe not with the PS2, but maybe it did start with the PS2. But to me, it was official PlayStation magazine. Every month, you spend $11.99 for a magazine, which now is just normal prices, which is insane.
Yeah.
But back then, that was crazy because magazines were like $3.99, $4.99. But you're paying for a monthly demo disc of PS1 games, and that was the best moment of my month.
That's
every single month, because of course I love the magazine. But you're telling me I actually get to play a bunch of games, and yeah, was I playing 102 Dalmatians on the PlayStation 1? Sure, I was. But I was having a great time.
You're doing it. And you're doing it probably over and over again.
Over and over again, man.
Dude, the amount of games I played over and over again that I had no business playing that much, but like when for some reason as a kid, when somebody gives you a taste of a game and that's all you have of it, you just keep going back like it's crack or something.
Yep.
I remember my next door neighbor, Freddie, he was my friend who had the Xbox. And I would go over to his place all the time to just play Xbox games. And his dad just had a bunch of demo discs for PS2 for some reason that he was like, oh, hey, here, you have a PlayStation. And I was like, yes, I do. I'll take those. And I forget what brand of demo disc it was, but it had Death by Degrees, which was the Tekken spin-off game starring Nita Williams.
Oh my god, dude, that's like Whiplash bringing something back to me.
Yeah, it was a third-person action game where she had like a special move that you would power up, and you would break people's bones. Like you would target where you want to hit and then break their fucking bones. The demo of that was fucking fun.
Vic Rattler says Freddy Slop.
There's Addison Slop and then there's Freddy Slop for sure.
Great.
Oh, what else is on that demo disc? Because they had the Brave Fencer Musashi sequel that I never really liked that much in that demo disc. They had some fucking football games. I forget what else is on there.
Yeah, my demo memories, like the jam packs, they were real big on cool borders. That's what it was.
Cool borders.
They just kept making cool borders, and I never liked any of them, if I'm being honest. But I played them so many damn times. Obviously, PS2, we had some great Final Fantasies. The Devil May Cry series gave birth on the PS2, and yeah, DMC1 was such a moment. Like that was one of the first times, like you talking about Shadow of the Colossus, making you be like, games could be this. Devil May Cry was one where, in a very, very different way, the way that the camera worked and the gothic nature of the like castle you're in and the island you're on, it was definitely a moment for me of like, what the hell? Like, people created this, and how do their minds work that way? And it's like, obviously that was the bloodline of the Resident Evil games, and those games had isometric backgrounds and all that. But there was something about the pre-rendered look of Devil May Cry 2 using the PS2 that was like so phenomenal. And that was the same era leading into obviously Metal Gear Solid 2 and all that. But the Zone of the Enders demo, then Zone of the Enders itself, like, God, man.
Dude, Devil May Cry, there was like an aura in that game or something. I remember that was one that I borrowed, I'm pretty sure, from Madison as well. And for some reason, as a kid, didn't resonate as much with me. I think maybe, I want to say it was Devil May Cry 2, but maybe it was 3.
I mean,
maybe it was 1, because 3 isn't a good one. Or
3 is the best one.
3 is the best one.
2 is doo-doo butter.
Maybe it was 2 then. I think I borrowed 2 from him and just didn't enjoy it. But I remember playing one of these Devil May Cry games and being like, there's something that feels demonic about these games.
One felt demonic.
Legitimately,
it
like,
truly felt demonic.
This shit feels dark. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it through the screen. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. And then taking that, the not so much demonic, but Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly, that to this day, I haven't been that actually scared. That game gave me a recurring nightmare, really.
Yeah.
Like, I would wake up in cold sweats thinking about Fatal Frame 2. And it's funny because now I look at it and think about playing that game. I'm like, no, like there's no way it's that scary. But there was something that early, not knowing about the tricks that video games could have to scare you and the vibes that they could create, because we're so used to it now. We know every trick in the book, right?
Yeah.
Back then, though, me and my friend Curran sat there, and part of it, I've again told this story a million times, but we played in the only room that we could at the time with the TV. There was a lot of glare coming in, like from the windows with the sun. So it was hard for us to see. So we had to get like real close to the screen, and we would like, it was kind of the mic thing of like, you play. Like, we did not want to hold the controller because the way that the rumble would work on the DualSense 2 was terrifying. And like, it's so funny to think about now, but it's like, dude, it was so scary.
I love
I found we found the sequel to Mike and Roger's streaming series here.
They're remaking this.
Oh, right, they are.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Damn.
That's perfect, man. Yeah, this game
Get them back in those outfits.
dude.
Yeah. There's a chat that went by. I'm trying to see if I can still see it. It might be gone now. There's somebody in chat mentioned, I hope they talk about Star Wars Battlefront 2. Dude,
if you want to talk about probably still my most played game of all time is probably still Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2 might be up there for me as well. Like, that was, I credit that game with being like my first foray into playing a class-based shooter, right? Like, Star Wars Battlefront 2 just hit different for me. I hadn't played a game like that before, where it's like, oh, I have all these units and I can be a sniper and you be this and you be that, right? And obviously that existed before, but Star Wars Battlefront being such a like amazing version of that, layering on the Star Wars stuff on it, and then even in 2, having the space battles, right? Being able to play as Luke for a second, being able to kind of like mowing down all these units. Me and Barrett did the stream last year, maybe 2 years ago. I forget when.
Whenever the
remaster came out, which, man, I forgot they remastered.
Which we also celebrated Pi Day, I remember, because we ordered pie as well. That might have been this year. That might have been March this year.
There's no way that was this year.
Chat, let us know.
Yeah, I think that was March 14th, 2024. Either way, though, like, You can go and watch the gameplay and watch how locked in I get.
Yeah.
Like, it legitimately is like putting a war veteran back into war after years away.
Then, like 2 especially, like 2 I really adore because, you know, they do the story mode of like retelling, you know, the both trilogies of, you know, the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, but doing it from the perspective of the 501st.
Yeah.
And getting like these kind of like cute little like intermission cutscenes between these battles of them dealing with Anakin being their leader and then slowly turning into Darth Vader and then it ending, I think, on the Battle of Hoth. Like, that was like such a cool way to like, hey, we're not going to do like a full like cutscene thing, but it was still like a cool little different perspective to play. And then you had what was the mode that we played, Bless? It was
Galactic Conquest?
Galactic Conquest, which was like, that's why like I had so many hours in Battlefront 2 because my friends and I would play that. Like, we played this game for years.
Somebody needs to make a video essay about how Star Wars games are just so good.
Oh, yeah. Somebody should. And we should call it The Blessing Show.
Yes, we definitely should. Check it out now. YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames. But yeah, so many great Star Wars games on PS2.
Oh,
so many Star Wars games on PS2.
I just want to shout out Revenge of the Sith.
You got it.
Really quick.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because, like, that game, booty, not great, like, very ridiculous. But I love the ending because you can either choose to end it as Obi-Wan, where you get the ending of the movie, or you play as Anakin, where you kill Obi-Wan and then you kill the Emperor.
It's pretty fucking cool, dude.
Fucking
I want to give a shout out to Jedi Starfighter, which was kind of a Rogue Squadron spiritual successor. Again, not that great, but I really enjoyed it because it's what I had. And then Star Wars Episode 1 Racer's Revenge, which was also not as good as Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, but hey, we got a sequel to that game on PS2. Like, PS2 just had everything. Man. The good, the bad, and everything in between.
I think it was just, it was at such a, I guess, such a specific time for the growth of video games where, like, you know, it came after the first 3D generation. And so you had the space to make sequels. And so, yeah, you had so many sequels. You had the evolution of just the tools. And so you could do different things and experiment a lot. And there was so much experimentation that just led to, like, so many pivotal games. Like, so many of the top games we talk about on PS2 were games that fucking invented genres or like did shit that really pushed the needle as far as what you expected out of video games.
Yeah.
Jordan Vickers in the super chat says The Warriors needs a remake, but Final Fantasy X will always be the GOAT. Also, Tim, try looking up fashionable cloaks. I mean, he said he did.
Trust me. Many times.
I mean, you've probably heard me talk about the Warriors video game. I fucking love the Warriors. I put it up there as one of my favorite. Actually, I want to say one of my favorite Rockstar games on PS2, but I can't because Rockstar is so goated during that era.
I mean, obviously, number one, State of Emergency.
I mean, of course, of course.
What a disappointment that was.
God,
man.
But hey, they made up for it with so many other games.
I know I'm always in the minority on here, but like the true goat to me for Rockstar in that era is Bully.
Bully, yeah.
Bully
I love that you love Bully. That's awesome.
I mean, that was, you know, for the longest time, like you know, growing up as a kid, a fan of the Harry Potter at the time, of like wanting that like go to school kind of like thing, but you know, not actually having to do schoolwork. Like Bully was that, you know, and like doing this whole like prep school type of thing. It was fucking awesome.
And now
it was
you have
hilarious.
Persona.
And now I have Persona. The Bully to Persona like pipeline is crazy.
Yeah, the top 10 games to get to know Barrett. Bully's definitely on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If we do the Barrett version.
I have not thought too much about it.
Bully, Persona 5.
Zelda. Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah. One of them Zeldas. I don't know if it's.
I mean, I was thinking it might not be Breath
of the Wild.
But it's Zelda for sure.
I think it might be Link to the Past, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I can see that, yeah.
We'll
figure that out later.
Yeah, one day. Donkey Kong 64.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here in Super Chats? Ty Wilkins VO says, my deep cut, Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament. I was busy playing the Budokai games, but I have tried Dark Tournament, and it's neat that it exists because I love Yu Yu Hakusho.
The big major Square ones, right? Like Final Fantasy X brought up, obviously, like what an amazing game. Like one of my games to know me, one of the best video games, period. First Final Fantasy with voice acting, such an amazing story. Like I do think one of the best stories in video games, like debatably the best story in video games. Like it's up there.
Damn.
And then Final Fantasy 11, the first online one, Final Fantasy 12.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts
1 and 2. Man, like they were hitting hard.
So who are we calling the publisher or even game studio MVPs of the PS2 generation.
I mean, I think
like Rockstar,
you gotta
Square.
say Rockstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Square, and it's funny, I think Square you much more associate with the PS1 because there's even just more dominance there. But like, I do think that we can't overlook the fact that Square didn't miss on PS2.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy 11, that one I think maybe can be a bit more take it or leave it, but 10 and 12 definitely like bangers.
I think Kingdom Hearts alone puts you on a level in that era.
And yeah, Square also had a bunch of other things too, but like those are the big franchises.
Someone shouted out Pandemic, the developer who did work on Star Wars Battlefront and Battlefront 2. One that I forgot that they worked on, which I hold near and dear to my heart. I know they don't age well, but Destroy All Humans 1 and 2, which like my friends and I were obsessed with.
I love how many of the games they're talking about that are like, again, it's tough to talk about deep cuts with the PS2 because you can make the argument that there's a few deep cuts or everything's a deep cut.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Everything kind of exists in a pile of quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like I love how many of the games that we're talking about where it's like, oh yeah, if you know, you know. Like
they also worked on Mercenaries. You remember Mercenaries?
I do remember Mercenaries.
Fuck yeah.
I think, you know what? I was trying to think of Mercenaries the other day because I was, which is, I know it's a crazy thing to say, but like, what game was I getting mixed up? There was another game that was like Force Fighters fighting, not Fighting Force. There was another game that I was trying to figure out what Mercenaries was, but anyway, I digress.
Konami, we have to bring them up for your games, obviously, but also the Silent Hill games, and they're another one that they just had a bunch of hits all around.
Freedom Force, thank you, chat.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Alex Frazier in chat says DBZ Budokai 3, of course. Shout out.
Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec we didn't talk about, but that was that was a moment of PlayStation 2 where even if you didn't care, you wanted to play it. You wanted to watch someone play it because of how good it looked.
Demon Hacker.
I'm trying to think of like the actual like working backwards from current PlayStation to there like okay, there's no Spider-Man. Well, there was Spider-Man, but it was different back then. No Horizon.
I mean, if we're talking about, God of War is like, I think the one that stood the test of time.
Absolutely, right? God of War 1, 2 at the end of the PS2's life cycle.
What's funny, when you think about the two big PlayStation franchises that stood the test of time from that era, God of War and Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Like Ratchet and Clank is the other one, which is wild.
Well, I mean, also, we've danced around it a little bit, but like, let's just talk about the PlayStation 2. Jak and Daxter, 1, 2, 3. Ratchet and Clank, 1, 2, 3, 4. Deadlocked, right?
I mean, I fuck with Deadlock, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want? Was there only 4? Was there 5? I think there was 4. But like, that's insane. Sly Cooper, what, 1 and 2? If I remember correctly?
Yeah, that sounds right. Was 3 on PS3 or no?
I think so. I was never the biggest Sly guy.
Yeah, I was never the biggest
But like,
Sly guy
that's crazy. The amount of games that we're talking about, trilogies plus.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's nuts.
And that's when you're talking about like the PlayStation first party stuff. But then, yeah, when you're talking about trilogies plus, fucking like the fact that you had that many GTAs on a console,
GTAs of that quality, that are that legendary for what they did
and how quickly they came out.
I mean, it's nuts, man.
And I'm talking about all these like GTA, the Jak games, the Ratchet games. Like it was insane.
They
like,
were
how
annualized essentially. Like I remember having a conversation. I was shoving breadsticks from Pizza Hut in my mouth, talking to Kern and Alfredo, and we're like budgeting out our gaming for the fall, and we're just like, who's gonna buy what? And then we're just gonna like lend it to each other because it's just like, all right, I'm gonna buy Need for Speed Underground this year. Next year, you'll buy Need for Speed Underground 2. I'm gonna buy Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Next year, you'll buy the sequel to Prince of Persia. Like, you know what I mean? It was crazy. And like, as a new game would enter the fray, you kind of just had to plan. Next year, there's gonna be a sequel.
yeah. And it's like, I was thinking about this recently, specifically with like the Ghost of Yote conversation about like sequels now, and people either being like, not like disappointed or, feeling okay about sequels because they feel kind of the same and not like innovative of their predecessors, and how much more of a conversation we have about that now than we did back then. And I think part of the reason why is because of the anticipation and how long it takes to make games now. Like you expect.
It's been 6 years since Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
I want something that's like going to blow me
Whereas
away.
Like back then it was like, we didn't think about it as much of like, this needs to innovate, because it's just been a year. So it's just like, oh yeah, it's like more of the thing that I liked already, and I only waited a year for it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
And also just game, like, again,
part of it.
It goes down into just how games have evolved, where I do think that problem we saw with Assassin's Creed, where Assassin's Creed was the next generation and it was annualized, and that did have that burnout.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a bigger conversation. But
another publisher I'll shout out, which is more of a sub brand, but EA Sports Big. Mm-hmm. That's my big three right there. You know what I mean? Fucking what were the other? Rockstar, Square, and EA Sports Big.
I mean, I do think that, like, legitimately, just in terms of sheer quantity and quality of releases and variety, you got to give a shout out to just EA in general.
EA in general, for sure.
I know it's like, who gives a shit about Madden and blah, blah. It's like, yeah, a lot of people. And a lot of people like that.
And that generation, like, I think did a lot of crystallizing what those were.
I bought and loved Madden 04. Like,
same. I was going to say that
crazy.
That year, like Madden 04, 05 era. Oh, and I know plenty of people talk about, was it Madden NFL 2K or something like that? Like, is that the one that people
that was the NFL 2K was like 2K5 was 2K5 the breaking point,
which I know people would say is like the greatest sports game of all time type shit, which is like, we're talking about that era.
Yeah. And then if we're talking about EA, gotta shout out Activision, because Activision bring in so many of the extreme sports games, right? Like the Tony Hawk's, but even just that energy overall, it's like, goddamn, dude, so many.
Yeah, another one that I want to bring up as just like a developer, we got to bring up Harmonix, like Guitar Hero 1, Guitar Hero 2, and like Rock Bands at the very end of the PS2 era. Like Harmonix like dominated those years as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. To close out, I want to read through a few more super chats to give some shout outs here. Oscar Navarro says, remember getting Kingdom Hearts 2 and being awestruck. Demon Hacker says, sports games weren't gambling sims on PS2. I miss it. Nando writes in and says, Capcom Forgotten Titles, Haunting Ground, and Maximo. Like, you could be making those up, and I wouldn't even know.
Maximo was a Ghosts and Goblins, but in 3D.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have never heard of that. Let's see here. Ed Reed fan says, my most played PS2 demo disc included MTV Music Generator 2, Portal Runner, an Army Men spinoff, Eco, Spy Hunter, Star Wars, Super Bombed Racing.
Super Bomb Bad
Racing, thank you, etc. Manny Bagel Boy Sanchez says Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of my top 10 games for sure, and I owe it all to the PS2. It was the system that made me fall in love with video games. And then I'll end with this one. Washed Up Gamer says the pretenders to the throne can rest, sending a birthday tax for the true king of Halloween, my son, who turns 4 years old today.
Hell yeah.
Happy birthday, the real king of Halloween.
One last one I want to shout out.
What up?
Obviously, the GOAT, SpongeBob SquarePants. Battle for Bikini Bottom, an underrated 3D platformer, based off an IP. Those usually not great, but Battle for Bikini Bottom has stood the test of time, and I think it should be recognized as one of the GOATs in that era of 3D platformers.
So me and Tim talked during the break. We're going to do this top 10 PS2 or top 25 PS2 games of all time in the very near future. So look out for that. But of course, we had to reminisce.
We had to.
Like when you start the conversation, it's impossible to end the conversation and just think about how much that console means to us.
25 years of the PlayStation 2. And I bet you 25 years later, like these memories are going to be just as relevant, and we're going to still have them. You know, we might forget the names of more of the games. I'm definitely going to forget Whiplash again. Mm-hmm. Maybe not. You know, maybe this has been seared into my mind.
I mean, maybe we'll go back and play it. I would love to go back and play Whiplash.
Where's the Whiplash remaster? You know,
remaster.
The streets
Whiplash.
have been asking.
Come on,
for
limited
the
run
27
games.
Minutes.
Come on,
you're doing everything else.
Honestly, this is one of those conversations where it's like on a day, like we could do a part 2 to this conversation if we wanted to. Like I'm ending this because we have to end it, but like, man,
why do we have to end it?
Because we're about to go into Game Showdown.
Oh yeah,
and it's about to be a really fun episode. So stay tuned for that. Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we get together and talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Catch today's KHD on YouTube or podcast services. And know that until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.